Hi everybody, it is April and I am in my craft room, and today we are going to take this fat quarter pattern from the fabric patch and we are going to make a spooky Halloween quilt. The pattern is called Beeline for Baby, which leads you to think it would be a pattern for a baby, but it's really not just for babies. It can be for anyone. As you can see from the example in the beginning of the video, you can use it for as big a quilt as you want. It just depends on the number of fat quarters that you're going to use. I am going to use fat quarters that are Halloween themed, and they are by Northcott Studio. Now, Northcott Studio made a panel last year of a cat sitting in a window looking at the moon, which I just loved. And this is kind of an extension of that line. So some of these fat quarters may actually be from that line from last year, but they do have a new panel that has multiple small pieces in it. So let me show you the fabrics. This is a black on black print, a harlequin print, a fun polka dot print on a distressed black background, a bat toss, and my favorite, a black cat with gold eyes. This looks like the same polka dot, only this polka dot is on a distressed orange background. A pumpkin toss, a fun spider web, a kitty in the moon, and some more bats on a lighter background. The first thing that we want to do is we want to press our fabric, because that is going to make it easier to get a nice clean cut when we cut up our fat quarters. Last year's collection was called Black Cat Capers. This year's collection is called Candelabra, and I will put a picture of the panel quilt that I made last year using the Black Cat Capers. These spider webs are actually from Kimberbell. This is the best way I found to cut this fabric. So I've got 2 fat quarters here, and you can cut as many fat quarters as you're comfortable with. I line them up on one side by the selvage. Then I'm going to put the selvage towards me on my mat. And I'm going to straighten this edge. You can straighten whichever edge you want, whichever one you're comfortable with, and I use the selvage because that's the straightest point. From here, I'm going to measure my first subcut. So I'll place my ruler. My ruler isn't big enough for my subcut, so I'm going to use a second ruler, line it up, and then use my ruler of choice, butt it up to make sure that it lines up against this second ruler, and move the second ruler away. So then I have this piece. I will set that aside. Then I need my next cut, and I'm gonna measure twice, cut once. Then I have that subcut, and then this is what I can use as binding. So there is very little waste. Now I'm going to take my larger subcut. I know my selvage is straight, so I'm going to cut the selvage end off. Again, the measurement is larger than my ruler, so I will take my second ruler, line it up on the straight edge, take my favorite ruler, push it next to the ruler that I'm using to get my measurement. It took me a while to get this. I'm sure you all will pick up on it right away. It took me a little bit. And then I have one of actually 2 of my squares. Now I have another subcut. Measure twice, cut once. Watch your fingers. That blade is sharp. Then I have one more subcut. And I've got this last strip. Again, I'm going to cut off my selvage, and then I'm going to subcut this piece. And there we go. I have cut my fat quarters, and I have these squares, these rectangles, and these rectangles. I am going to cut out my panel pieces, and then I will show you how to put the rest of the blocks together. I have completed cutting up my fat quarters and my panel. I'm very excited that I get to use my panel. I also have these 2 subcuts, and they will be put together to be another block. So what I've done is I've rearranged this side so that no 2 pieces are alike. I will sew all of these together. That will make 10 blocks. And then I have 4 stacks of these squares, and they will make a 4 patch. And I have done the same with those, and I will rearrange them so that none of the 4 blocks that are in a 4 patch match. So here is one of the blocks. That's my 4 patch. And then here is another block that features the other 2 subcuts. Once I sew all of my 4 patches and all of my rectangle blocks, we will meet back at the design wall, and we will place the 30 blocks. It's going to be 5 blocks across and 6 rows of those 5 blocks down. And then we'll sew them all together and we will have a quilt. I almost forgot. These 2 strips were part of my panel. I couldn't let them go. I thought they were so cool. I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet, but I did keep them. I have my stack of 4 patches. I have my stack of the 2 rectangles sewn together. I have my stack of my panel pieces. And I have my stack of my squares. I can mix and match them any way I want. Now I'm trying to decide if I just want to willy-nilly pick one, put it up there, pick one, put it up there, maybe go in order, do a square or a block. Well, they're all blocks. Do a block that doesn't have any piecing, and then do a 4 patch, and then do the 2 rectangles together. I think that's how I'm going to start, and I'm going to intersperse my panel pieces throughout because I've got 6 of them and I'm going to have 6 rows. So let's see how this all comes together. I think you could definitely overthink this, but I'm going to try and avoid that. And I'm just going to sew it all together. Now, just because it looks like this right now on the wall does not mean that's what it's going to look like when I get done putting it together. Not because I'm going to change anything on purpose, but sometimes en route from the wall to the sewing machine, things get jumbled up. What are you gonna do? I also used the 5 extras. I do have one 4-patch left over here somewhere, but I wanted more length on it. I like the 5 blocks across, but I wanted 7 rows down. So I am glad that I added the panel pieces and still put all the other pieces together and didn't leave out a fat quarter, because I think that length is going to be nice. All right, I'm gonna sew this together and we'll see what it looks like when I'm done. As you can see, my quilt is complete. It isn't as big as the other one. I do have an extra row at the end on the other quilt, but I love the way that it turned out. I'm so happy that I got to put my panel pieces in there, and I just think it's a lot of fun. So, beeline for baby, fabric patch, very reasonably priced, and it's different every time you use it. I really like it. I can't wait to just put it all together with the backing, and I will show you the finished product when I get it completed. Have a great day, eat some chocolate, and be kind to everyone. Until next time, bye. Oh, another thing. I put the spiders in there. See if you can find where the spiders are. Today's chocolate of choice is Dove dark chocolate and peanut butter. Yummy. Can't go wrong with dark chocolate. Yummy. And in that vein, you can't see the back of the fat quarter. You can just slow. Yeah, that doesn't sound right. Stuff, and I'm not saying that correctly. And you know what? I'm not even. Pat some. A boop, boop, boop. So the I've picked wow. We're at 6 blocks.